Hey there, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor. Thanks for checking me out. So, I don't really enjoy talking about Mandela effects anymore, and I didn't want to do any, but I feel like this is put upon my soul that I have to talk about it, give you an interpretation about it, and then discharge this from my being because I might make another video about it. This is a convoluted one, but you might think it's very straightforward. So I'm gonna get right into it. I believe it's in Luke, and this is a Bible Mandela effect that just happened. Is what it is, and. I forget the exact, I want to say Luke 14:24. I don't remember the exact number. But anyway, Jesus goes out and Jesus tells his disciples when they go out to purchase purchase swords when they go out. And this, of course, has changed, and he never told his disciples to sell their cloak and buy a sword. And I'll let you look it up. But then they said that the disciples say, "I have 2 swords," and he says, "That is enough," Jesus said. So there's a lot to unpack about this. It's an obvious change for me, and first of all, it makes me sad because I remember the Bible and I used to enjoy reading it, and now I just feel like I can't read anymore. So it makes me upset. So anyway, about this passage, Jesus is telling the disciples to go buy a sword, and when they go out, and I've been saying that myself as well for gun rights, that we need to protect ourselves with guns. So I said in that time, Jesus' disciples would have had AK-47s because people were, a lot of people are bad just like they're bad now. But Jesus recommended turn the other cheek and, to not, those live by the sword, die by the sword, Jesus said. So he recommended not doing that, but now he says that you should have a sword. So what does this mean? What's the interpretation? What's going on? So the disciples say at the end that they have 2 swords, and he says that is enough. Now, when Jesus was on the cross and he was dying and it is done, when at the his final words is enough, is the same kind of a sentiment, same kind of way that he said it, is enough, it is done. It's slightly different, but what I'm saying is that I have to read it, maybe it is the same, that Jesus went and is trying to tell us, I think now, to arm yourselves, because right now illegal immigrants in the United States are coming over, and there's a new interpretation that I've heard that they're allowed to buy weapons and firearms, and now they're going to be in the police force, and they're going to be able to arm up. Even if they're illegal immigrants, they could be on the police force. So it's kind of crazy what's going on right now, and I think this spiritually changed to show people that we have to just arm up. Now, like I was telling my kids the other day, I said, in the Bible, interpretation is thou shalt not kill, but I believe that says thou shalt not murder. Like if you're defending yourself, that's a whole different type of situation. I just wanted to say all that. But concerning the two swords, that wasn't there before any of this. I said that, and I made some memes about it. I said that, in the Garden of Gethsemane, that when, they would have had swords with them, because they could have got attacked, they could have got robbed, but Jesus said that in the new way, he says, I have to be numbered with the transgressors, which means that he has to have a sword with them, so they think that they're bad, and then he goes to get crucified, but then the guard cuts off the ear, and he says something different now, and then he says that, so I would go to the cross, that's why I have the sword, that's why we had the swords. That isn't why that he had the swords with him. He probably didn't have any swords, by the way, maybe one. But the reason is because he flipped over the tables. It's not because he had a sword. So let's get that straight. But what I'm it's convoluted, right? So what I'm saying is that it's the swords are judgment. The sword comes out of the witnesses' mouths. The swords come out of Jesus' mouth. It's the truth, and the sword cuts. So the sword is judgment, and so there's two swords. There's two judgments. There's two. What I've been saying is there's two messiahs. There's a messiah in Jesus, and there's a messiah now. So there's two swords. There's two witnesses. There's two lampstands. Everything's now doubled. There were two asses. There's two mules. There's two. I think they're asses. That now when there was one. So that's a Mandela effect. So it is a complicated thing. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack, but I believe that there's it shows that there's a judgment coming, and that there's a way to interpret that, and that everybody has to arm up, because what's going to happen. And being that I'm in the U.S., I think this is for people in the U.S. to understand. I don't know if anything, this just sounds like gobbledygook for you, if I'm making any sense. I don't really enjoy talking about Mandela effects anymore. I'm trying not to, but I feel like this was put upon my soul to get it out there about the two swords in Luke, that now that all changed, but it kind of doesn't make sense, a lot of the passage and how it reflects. And I just wanted to say, a lot of things in the Bible, like people say, well, that's wrong, and this happened. Well, it's because it's spiritual naturally changed. It wasn't that way. So a lot of things within the Bible that people say, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. Well, yeah, it doesn't make sense because it's spiritual. I can't even talk this morning. It changed supernaturally. Anyway, sorry, I'm tired. Working a lot on hard times right now, that in a lot of debt, and I'm not really sure how to get out of it. And like a lot of Americans right now, we're all struggling in a lot of debt. So anyway, there's a website, they're probably taking it down, Victor Hamsa, HMSA.com. Anybody ever want to send some people money, I guess you can. I don't go on here asking for money ever, but there's a lot going on. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry this all doesn't make a lot of sense, but what I'm saying is the Mandela effect is now that the disciples tell Jesus that we have two swords, and he says that's enough. So I took it to start to understand that there were two people in, like Jesus personification, and one now that's speaking the truth. And then, I've been changing my interpretation a lot, but it's very strange. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. Hope you're having a great day. Bye-bye.